Go for it.
Okay. So, so let me just say to you, you can come out of this because um, I did. I am actually married now, newly married. I still say the newly married.
Woo!
Yes.
I'm doing a happy dance
Look,
for the
look,
people
look,
on
look, look,
audio.
look. You can't quite
Yes,
tell. Yes. It's
yes,
a heart
that
shape.
ring. Hey guys, welcome to the Legit Podcast. It's your girl Bissy, your hostess. And I have, I'll be bringing you the best, y'all. I have Saundra Stansel here today. She lives just in Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C. And Saundra is an accomplished entrepreneur, best-selling author, and international speaker who has started 6 successful businesses all on a skinny budget with a diversified background, which includes trade show development, medical compliance, and marketing and sales. She's coached thousands in these and many other areas. Now, usually we know the highlights of people's lives and, we see them in their prime and we see them, getting it, but we really don't talk about or we don't see, the dark moments where they were just going rope by rope, just trying to climb to get to where they are today. And so Saundra actually has been in a narcissistic marriage, and that's what we're talking about today. Narcissism, it's something that a lot of people don't realize, especially when we don't know the love of God and how to love ourselves, and it we can just miss it. And so that's what we're talking about today. And so hi Saundra, thank you for coming on today.
Hello. Hi, Bissy. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Good. Okay. So, Sandra, I want to start with what is narcissism or a narcissistic behavior?
So narcissism is actually is considered a personality disorder, and it's a person that has a grandiose impression about themselves. They believe that, and they need for everything to be surrounded about them. All of what they do has to do with their value system and trying to make themselves feel good. And so and that type of behavior is a person that seeks to be able to get that type of elevation in their personality for themselves. So this is a little bit it's beyond selfishness, and it's also beyond being self-absorbed. That's what narcissism is.
Okay. And you were in a marriage for 18 years. And, I'm going to let you tell it, but because I know,
Yes.
you said, at year 6, you kind of realized this pattern as to like something was off. So I want you to just hone in on that. At what point did you like, what were the patterns? And, 18.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I like to add to that a little bit. It was 18 years of legal, actual legal years of marriage, but the relationship was in a total, including the marriage, of 26 years.
Mhm.
But yeah, 18 years, and 6 years into the marriage, I realized that something was not right, and it was, there was things like, well, we didn't have savings, we didn't own a home, we were still renting, and at the time we were living in another person's in-law home. We were the cars that we had were, on their last leg, and most of the time we only owned one car, one vehicle, and it was a very difficult lifestyle for me. Um, oh gosh, I have to tell you also that when I first got when I first was in the in the marriage and in love, I just received all of this, admiration and this affection. And then it started to go away slowly but surely. Slowly, I stopped receiving, attention and affection. In fact, I was told to. He would tell me to wait a minute if I asked for, a hug, or I asked for, to be embraced, he would tell me to wait, and he would actually get on the phone and have conversations with other people. And I was taught not to, in my foundational church, I was taught, about, that it's okay to separate, but it's not okay to divorce. So I was really focused on trying to save the marriage. And I was a person that just didn't want to experience, divorce.
Right. So, just so things are not lost in translation, I feel
Mhm.
like, marriage has its issues. And,
Yes.
certain things are, you talked about savings and the car and stuff like that. Maybe for 6 years, it just wasn't cutting it. And so, um, what exactly was it that made you realize that's not it's not that way, maybe we don't have the money or we're not trying, it's that something's off with you?
I have to say, honestly, by the 10th year,
Okay.
there still was no savings. There was tremendous suffering financially. And by the 10th year, I'm like, something is wrong with a person who has 2 degrees in popular, areas. Um, he had a degree in computer science and also in accounting, and but could not and would not hold a job, and oftentimes would try to secure a job that was, you can call it underemployed, that was not making enough money, was a job but not making enough. And I found myself operating a business, operating more than one business, and trying to, support and keep things going and making ends meet. And it was very difficult, and I just realized that this is not normal.
Mm.
Most people that have been married this long have a house, at least renting a house, if not owning a home, are going on vacations, um, have at least one child. This was 10 years into the marriage, and we had no children. And, I have strong maternal instincts, and I wanted to have a child. I wanted to have more than one. And so I started to see that these were not, even though there were ups and downs in the marriage, because I thought what I was experiencing was the normal ups and downs in a marriage. Um, and but I realized it was starting to affect me, my value, and my self-esteem. It was affecting my personal wealth, and I really thought it was something that was wrong with me.
So if I'm to just hear you correctly, basically you guys were not building together,
Exactly.
correct? And so when you noticed this thing 10 years in, did you like talk to anybody about it? Did you have like a community of people where you could, just talk about it and, just to see if, oh no, this is normal, I'm going through this too, or it's like, you kind of just like kept it to yourself? Because I know you've
Well,
done a lot of, sorry, I know you've done a lot of research into all this. And so, yeah, just to touch on both parts.
yes, that's like, I was about to lead into this perfect timing. So I happen to have a friend, and she um she was going through a difficult time herself. And she mentioned something about her being self-absorbed. And I never heard the word before. And she thought that she had created the word herself. And I decided, she said, you know what? I think he has what I have, which is self-absorbed. And so, later on that day, I decided, let me go ahead and look up self-absorbed. And I looked up self-absorbed, and I kept seeing over and over and over again this word narcissism. And I used to hear people always in the workplace and everywhere, I hear people call, you're narcissistic, or a person just being narcissistic. Had no idea what the real meaning is. I thought it was just a person that was just being really cynical or really just focused on themselves. And when I looked up self-absorbed, and I have to tell you, I must have been about 4 or 5 hours into the search. I said, let me take a break and let me just look at the word narcissism. I looked at the word narcissism, and oh my goodness, that was exactly what I was experiencing. It was a self assessment test. I did the self assessment test, and there are times when you do these tests maybe one or two, maybe three things apply, but the rest do not. Well, this was the opposite. All of the things in this test applied except for maybe about three of those things. And I was, oh my goodness, I am married to a narcissist.
Can you tell us like maybe one or two things that you found in this test?
Yes. One actually, you know what? I have it right here. Can you mind if I just share that? Okay, because I just want to look at it because there's one in particular. Um, here's one. Constantly looks at you, meaning, and I'll just personalize it. It's constantly looking at me to meet their needs. That was one of them.
Okay.
Um, Another one was find fault in your friends.
Okay.
and and then another one was lies, distorts, and misleads.
Mm.
So it was, it goes on and on and on. Demeans and also devalues you. I experienced all of those
Mm.
in that, in that marriage.
Okay. So, according to Psych Central,
Mhm.
narcissistic abuse affects over 150 million people in the United States, and that's just United States. And to be honest, believe I can believe that number just because, the stats is, 50% of marriages end in divorce.
Yeah.
And a lot of us go into relationships and marriages not knowing who we are or how to love ourselves enough to even give love. And so, do you know about that number and can you touch on that?
Yeah, I have to say you are so right. You're accurate. I thought that number might have changed over the years because it's been almost probably 15 years or so since then. But that is 5% of the US population. And it was true then, and it is still true now. People all around, there's so many narcissists all around you, and they're in all types of positions. As I started to study, I realized that it was not only the husband that was in my life that was a narcissist, but there were other people as I studied that have been in my life and was actually currently in my life that were narcissists.
Mhm.
So I had, um, they were relatives and they were, oh gosh, they were staff members. I had staff members who were neighbors. There were people who were members of my church. They were leaders. A lot of them are in leadership positions. Um, they're all around, and it's a huge number. And another statistic is only about 2 to 16% even seek help. A lot of them know that they have this personality disorder, but being able to or just identify that they actually have this disorder is almost like committing suicide. And
Mhm.
so oftentimes they will not seek help.
Yeah, I think, the fact that you said a lot of them are in leadership positions, it doesn't really surprise me because that's power, right?
Yeah.
That's power and you can, use power to manipulate and really use it for your benefit. I have
Yeah.
two questions in one. Can you tell us about, your healing journey? Um, and
Hmm.
also how do you identify, you know, a narcissistic person and how I guess it's a bunch of stuff but like and we can take it one after the other but I guess identifying a narcissistic person or sometimes maybe if you yourself are not narcissistic or have elements of it and how do you deal with that. Let's do that first.
And that's a very good question. Oftentimes I like to trust people um, as they are, but because I've experienced narcissism, my antennas are always up. And so I don't assume, but when I start to notice that the person is requiring more of me, or is demanding more of my time, or begin to criticize simple little things like maybe my earring, or um, maybe my necklace is not on, properly. Simple little things. Or, and so if I'll start to recognize something about them that is interfering with my spirit,
Mm.
interfering with the wonderful, beautiful, perfectly made person that God said that I am.
Yes,
When
you
I
are.
start to, I tell you, when
Yes.
I realize that they have done, that starts to happen, then I take a moment and step back and say, let me remember and let me think about, does this person have some traits like that? So God says that we are perfectly, fearfully, and wonderfully made. And I had to learn, and I did accept that that's exactly who I am. And I'm perfectly made. There is nothing wrong with me. And so when they start to show different things, or show, or display attitudes, or, impressions about them being better than me, or they're really trying to down me, um, or my values or my beliefs, that's when I have to pay attention to it, and I start to recognize it, and I realize, oh my gosh, this person is maybe narcissistic. I'll test them with maybe a question or a situation, just so that they can prove themselves. And once they do, my next action is to limit my contact with them and eventually eliminate them from my world.
Oh, so um, limit contact and eliminate. Um, that sounds like it's serious that we can't surround ourselves with people that are narcissistic. But um I guess my question is,
Hmm.
I think basically I feel like sometimes are there elements of narcissistic behavior in everybody, especially since you said they're all around friends, family, you know. And so when is it like okay to just give them a pass? Maybe it's just today, or like you said, limit and just eliminate.
Okay. I I smile and I chuckle because it's never okay to
Mm.
give them a pass. Never, ever, ever. Once you've discovered that this person is narcissistic, it's time to cut the ties. It's time to pack up and do whatever is necessary to protect yourself, and to do everything in your power to protect yourself and remove yourself from their space.
That's good.
That's extremely important. And I have to tell you, I did receive counsel at the church, and with the minister. And he said, one of the things he said to me was, protect yourself at all costs. At that time, he did not know that it was narcissism, and neither did I. But I remember those words and never forgot those words.
So basically choosing
Yes.
you that God created you to be, and you have to be healthy for other people. So I think if somebody it's not calling you to be healthy, then they're calling you to be detrimental or have an energy that doesn't
Mhm.
speak of the highest version of yourself, correct?
Exactly. You're exactly right.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think tell us, like, you broke free,
Yes.
yes, you broke free. You're not in that marriage anymore. So can you tell us what you did? Because I can't imagine it was easy. Like you said, 18 years, 26 years, like that's a long time. And I can't
Yeah.
imagine it was easy. So just maybe for 2 minutes, if you can just tell us your journey to breaking free and to healing, because
Yeah.
there's a difference between cutting ties and healing from something that was a norm for decades.
Yes, I certainly can. So let me just tell you, what I did actually is I separated. So I think I've mentioned before I had separated one time. There was a total of 3 separations, but the last separation was the final separation. And basically, I told him, even though I knew what it was and what was going on, I told him that he had to prove to me that he can take care of himself because of the financial situation. I had started more than one business. I was taking on jobs and operating a business also at the same time, trying to keep things afloat and keep, just keep food and keep a roof over our head. And so in my searching, in my research, I decided I can't live like this. I gave him a deadline. And actually, BC, let me just back up because God spoke to me. So let me back up and let me just say to you, the minister that I referred to said to me in a counseling session, that same thing that I mentioned, that you can separate, but you don't have to divorce. And after he said that, and he told me that I needed to separate, and I did not want to separate. That was godly counsel that I did not take, which is a mistake. And so later, about I would say about 2 or 3 months later, it was in December, and I remember the day and exactly. It was December 31st. It was in church, and we was having a New Year's Eve celebration, and God spoke to me Himself directly, and He said to me to leave,
Okay.
and He didn't say it like that. I'm going to say it exactly the way I heard it in my ear. I heard His voice for the first time ever in my life. And He said to me, leave. It was something about that E that just stood in there. And He said, leave. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, God, I hear you. I hear you. And I sat back in my seat and I said, I hear you, and I'm going to do that. So I started the process of getting ready to, to leave, to pack up and plan everything out. And it was 2 months later. I said it was in that December, and that February, I actually left after I had produced a trade show that I had developed. That was the last day. And after that, I started packing and I left. Even though my heart was still there, I never really wanted to separate, but I did tell the ex at the time um, I told him that, he had until a certain date to prove to me that he can take care of me. And he did not. And then after that, I gave him 12 months. He did not. And then actually, the separation lasted for 3 years. And after that last year, I decided it was time to end this marriage. Um, I received direct counsel from my pastor at the time, and he also said to me, um, oh gosh, I can't remember. He told me I had done everything that I could to save the marriage. The same thing. They don't teach separation, but he did say everything that I had done was the right thing. And he also said to me that normally people come to him with counsel, they want to get divorced. But in my situation, he had my okay if I made the decision to move forward because forgiveness had taken place. And I had totally forgiven him. And I was prepared for if there was change and if there was what I call complete metamorphosis, then I was ready to continue. That did not happen, and I moved forward with the divorce. So here, if I can share with you, I don't know if that's been 2 minutes or not, but if I can share with you,
Yeah.
I actually, in my research, I'll just share this with you. I have all of these different notes that I created, all of these notes from my research online. And I happened to share with a couple friends of mine, and a friend of mine actually I put it all together in a booklet, sent it to her, and she created this. But this was all of the references that I found in articles that helped me to heal myself to be able to move.
Mm.
And I have this big bag of study, and I found that when I had these issues, or I needed something to learn a little bit more about narcissism, that I have this bag. If I can share it with you, if you want to see it, but I
Yeah.
have this large bag of let me just pull it out here, of all this research. It is a little heavy. Um, this is the bag, and I'm just going to turn it over so you can see it.
Wow.
This is the bag of research
Yeah.
that I did on just self developing, just trying to help myself to heal from this type of bondage.
Yeah.
But yes, so I did. Thank God I did.
Yeah.
And listen to God. And I've heard his voice since then, 3 times. But yes, I knew it was him, and I took action. And from this point on, when God speaks to me, I listen, I take action, and I move on with it.
Yeah, Sandra, and you know what? I really love that, for people who are listening on the audio podcast, we saw like a big Sandra showed us a big tote, with books and papers and print in there that just shows all the research she did. And I love that because you know, a lot of us Christians, tend to I love that. I believe in that where we rely on the word of God, which is totally valid.
Mhm.
However, I think it's very important to also get facts and get things that just confirm it. Now granted, the person that was going on this journey with you also confirmed that to you, but then also, so like you said, so you can actually make an informed decision to move on and say like this is definitely God. And I'm not crazy, because a lot of us, especially when it comes to relationships, it's so easy to continue to just be reeled back in, right? Because that's what's comfortable, that's what's familiar. So I want to just applaud you for that.
Thank
And
you.
I'm so glad to be sitting here
Thank you.
with you today. It's been amazing. And I think this topic is heavy. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that need to be unpacked. And so we'll see if we can have you on here again, Sandra, to just kind of
Uh,
rip
I
off
would love to come back. Yes, thank you.
rip off the layers and maybe go in depth some more. So if you would just we're going to play a little game just to, lighten the mood, get to know you a little bit. So,
Okay.
what does Sandra do for fun? You have 6 successful businesses, you're an author. Like, I want to know where the fun and the rest is. And so, yeah, what do you do for fun?
Oh, my fun actually is honestly, it's the things of God. I love nature. I love seeing the trees and the grass and the greenery. Um, I like being on the water and just looking at the birds and the animals. I love animals, so for fun, just being out and seeing out in nature, it's relaxing, it's peaceful for me. And I do love to travel, but I find that even, it doesn't matter where I travel at, I still want to see nature. I want to go to the zoo.
Yeah.
I want to go to a nature park. It's all things of nature.
That's good. Thank you so much, Sandra, for gracing us with your presence and for allowing us to pick your brain and for sharing a part of your story with you. I know it's never easy. It is never easy. However, I just want to thank you and say I really appreciate you. It's not easy, but it is necessary for other people to also, get to the point and have the strength and the ability to say that if she could, I can too. So thank you.
Absolutely.
If
Yes.
you can just share with us, where we can find you, tell us about your business. Again, I say this is the legit podcast, but we're growing, yo. We're growing into a movement. We're growing into a community, and so we don't just come and leave stuff up in the air. Saundra is a coach herself, and so and I've spoken to other coaches, other speakers, and so they come with the plug. They come with resources, and so Saundra.
So yeah, so yeah, you can definitely find me on Facebook and also Instagram. You can just find my name, Saundra E. Stansel, on Instagram and also on Facebook. And actually, I do have one thing if I can just share with everyone, I want to just share with everyone not to reject the teachings and to drop perfectionism, because that was a part that I had, as well. But and that helped me as well. So but yes, you can find me on Facebook and on Instagram. And also I have a book coming out. I'm expecting to come out in a couple of months, and it's going to be ready and available. And I would love to be able to give that to your audience.
What's the book about?
So the book is about surviving narcissism. It's about surviving and thriving narcissism, um, while being successful in your career or in your business, and surviving a relationship and surviving a narcissistic relationship. And I can tell you the name of the book. The name of the book is Cocooned.
Mhm,
Cocooned with the ed at the end.
mhm.
And yeah, and so it's about being boxed in, and not being able to come out of the cocoon. But there is a change that happens because you can come out, and then you come out as this beautiful creature
Yeah.
that God had created while in the cocoon, before the cocoon, and after the cocoon.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. God bless you, Saundra, for doing this. Seriously. I know it's
God
going
bless
to bless a
you.
lot of people. And I know, coming out of the cocoon can mean so many different things. But specifically, if I want to talk about specifically like marriage, a lot of people, and you did try, a lot of people feel like, because this is a marriage, I have to stay in and take everything and whatever, even though it is demeaning to me as a person, as as a child of God. And the thing is, God loves us so much. I don't think He loves to see us go through an extended period of self doubt or you feeling like you're not worthy. I say
Yeah.
it is not in his nature to. And so obviously, you have to, go according to the leading of the Holy Spirit, and everybody's story is different. But yeah, just to be able to navigate, what do I do? How, like I love how you said thriving in this at the same time, being able to build a career. That is amazing. So thank you, Saundra. God bless you. Saundra's
Thank
links,
you.
information for her book coming up. Listen, December is the year. Listen, I was born in December, so I love everything, December. And so the year, the month, December is the month. December is the month. And so, yeah, look out for her book. And you can also contact us at info@legitwb.com if you have any questions, if you want any resources, connecting with Saundra and everything. So thank you, Saundra. Thank you guys for
Thank
listening.
you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.